What if I told you that the way you feed your sow before and after farrowing can determine not just the survival of her piglets, but also how strong they are, how much they weigh, and how fast she recovers? One wrong feeding routine could cost all your whole litter, but with the right one, you can create a foundation for a healthy herd as well as higher profits. Welcome back to GAC Podcast, your trusted guide to practical farming strategies. I am your host, Joshua Salvation, and today we are breaking down something many farmers overlook until it's too late. Now, the essential feeding guide for pregnant and lactating sow is a topic that most farmers overlook. In this episode, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about energy, protein, feed quantity, key supplements needed for pregnant and lactating sow. This will ensure that your sow is not only delivering healthy piglets but staying healthy themselves. Why does feeding matter? As humans, we eat. In fact, I feel that is one thing every human has in common without dispute. No matter how big you are, no matter how much money you have, when there is no food, everything is finished. Now, the feeding plan of a sow is not just about keeping her full. It's not just about loading the stomach of your sow and saying, but I piled so much cassava husk, or I piled so much cassava peels for her and all. Does it contain the required nutrients that she needs? Feeding determines her ability to carry healthy piglets to term. Feeding determines the number of piglets that will be born alive. Feeding determines the birth weight of the piglet. Feeding determines the milk production quality. Feeding determines her recovery post-farrowing and readiness for the next cycle. Feeding determines malnutrition. Now you can see that feeding determines a whole lot of things with regards your sow. Malnutrition can lead to small litters, weak piglets, poor lactation, and reproductive issues. What are the nutritional needs? Stage. What are the nutritional needs, especially during early pregnancy? That is between the day 0 to 30. The energy requirement within this period is moderate. Protein should be between 12 to 14%. Feed quantity should be between 1.8 to 2.2 kilogram per day. The reason is to maintain the body size of your pig or of your sow, as well as supplying needed nutrients to the piglet in her. And the goal is to maintain the sow's body condition and not to overfeed them. Note that overfeeding can reduce embryo survival. Understand that. Now, during the mid-pregnancy, that is between the days 30 to 85, energy should be stable, that is still on moderate. Protein should be increased to 13 to 15%. Feed quantity should be increased a little bit to 2 kilogram, between 2 kilogram to 2.5 kilogram per day. The essence of this is to support fertile or fetal development without causing fat gain. You know that piglets or pigs or your sow give birth to large number of piglets most of the time, especially the good ones. If the embryo are too large, it will affect them during birth. So you are trying to control both the health requirement of your sow while maintaining a stable size of your piglets that does not cause damage during farrowing. Now, what happens or how do you feed them during the late pregnancy period? That is from day 85 to farrowing. Increase the energy source slightly. We've been using from the early to the mid, we've been using moderate quantity of energy sources. But during the late period, increase the energy source slightly. Protein source should be increased between 15 to 16%. Feed quantity should be increased a little bit to 2.5 to 3 kg per day. The essence of this is to build up reserves for lactation, support organ development in piglets. A pro tip is to include fiber, which might be your wheat bran, to actually prevent constipation before farrowing. Now, during lactation, What are the quantity of nutrients required? Lactation refers to or from post-farrowing to weaning period where your sow is still breastfeeding. That's what we refer to as lactation. Energy should be very high during this period. No, she had already farrowed already, right? She had given birth to the piglet. So you are not monitoring the fat content of the piglet again. Let the energy be very high. Protein can be taken high to as far as 16 to 18%. Feed quantity should be raised to 4 to 6 kg per day depending on the number of litter that she has. The more litter, the more feed because they will suckle. Now, the goal is to support high milk production and sow recovery. So during the period where your sow actually farrows, or during the post farrowing or weaning period, or post farrowing period to weaning period, the sow will emaciate. Now, to ensure that she gains, especially the land raised, the large white, let's leave the duroc out of this because they would they love their own body mass, so they will eat more and feed less, breastfeed less most of the time. But the good mothers will obviously emaciate because they would breastfeed more. So they need lots of food within this period, depending on litter size. So if you cannot expect to be giving a sow that farrowed 10 piglets the same quantity of food or feed that you are giving a sow that farrowed 4 piglets. So please, let's be guided so that we don't start losing our sow or having them not produce better piglets subsequently because of malnutrition. A pro tip during this period is to actually gradually increase feed after farrowing. This will help to avoid digestive upset. Understand that during the period from the early pregnancy to the mid stage to the late stage, there is a gradual increase of feed or feed quantity and nutrient quantity. So if after the farrowing you just give them the same boom, go with the whole food and everything, is going to actually be costing them or causing them digestive upset in no time. What are the key supplements and additions that your pigs actually need? Number one is calcium and phosphorus. This is essential for milk production and strong bones for the piglets. Number two is iron and selenium. Iron and selenium. This will help prevent piglet anemia as well as boost immunity. Number three is folic acid and biotin. It's important during early pregnancy for fetal development. Number four is vitamin E and vitamin C. This boosts immunity in both your sow and the piglet. And then we have the probiotics, which improves the gut health and nutrient absorption of your piglet or your sow, whichever one. Then we have lysine. Lysine is an essential amino acid which is vital during lactation for high milk output. What are some practical feeding tips that you have to follow while taking care of your sow? One is to monitor body condition score, that is BCS, right? What is the body condition score? Monitor it appropriately. Don't let your sow get too fat or too thin. It should be moderate. Adjust feed based on weather. Cold weather or during cold seasons, they require more energy dense feed than during hot weather. Now, fresh water is non-negotiable at any time of the day. So ensure that you replenish water with fresh ones. A lactating sow needs about 20 to 30 liters of water per day. So please don't take that for granted and don't play with that. Feed quality over quantity. The feed you are getting or you are giving to the sow should be able to supply the necessary nutrients. So don't go and pack junks and or dump. Let me call it dump, because a feed that does not supply required amount of nutrients to a lactating sow, to me, is dump, right? So ensure that you prioritize quality of feed over the quantity. Cheap feed can actually harm more than it helps. So you're looking at it that I'm saving money. Don't worry, this one will save me money. you don't have to save, you don't have to over micromanage when you're actually dealing with the sow that just gave you about 15 to or 14 piglets. Take care of her because she's your breeding machine, right? Take care of her. Feed her the best, especially when you have them for production, you have them for breeding. Feed them well. Feed them well. I will emphasize that. Now, keep a feeding schedule. Consistency can actually reduce stress and improve the intake of feed over time. During the post-weaning and recovery phase, continue feeding the sow a balanced diet to restore body weight and prepare her for the next cycle. Don't rush her into breeding without recovery, please. Feed her at least 2.5 to 3 kg per day during that post-weaning and recovery phase. This is because she had already weaned. During the lactating phase, we gave her between 5 to 6 kg. Okay, so but now, and that was because she was breastfeeding. But now she had actually let, or we've weaned her, taking off the piglet, and she's alone. So the diet or the quantity of feed will reduce to about 2.5 to 3 kg per day, right? And the goal of this is to regain condition and balance hormones. Feeding your sow properly is like setting up the entire farm for success. And a healthy sow means healthy piglets, high survival rates, faster growth, and a stronger profit line. Thank you so much for tuning into the GAC podcast. If you've learned something new today, share this with your farmer group and do not forget to subscribe. In our next episode, we are bringing you something that is very awesome. In fact, something that it's a problem for every pig farmer, and that is diseases. Do not forget to stay smart, stay practical, and keep farming strong.